Good morning, class 8, and welcome to your social science class. So, students, during our last class, if you remember, then we studied about the iron and steel industries in India, isn't it? So, iron and steel industry is a very important industry in India, and it plays a very important and crucial role in the economic development of our country. Iron and steel industry is a feeder industry, as I told you. Feeder industry because their products, such as steel, they are used as raw materials for other industries. So, just like any other industry, even iron and steel industry has got several processes. Especially, there are three processes: input, process, that is the various stages, and the output. So when we talk about the input of the iron and steel industry, then it includes raw materials such as iron ore. It includes limestone along with capital, labor, site, etc. Then what about the process? The process is a large one. It's a big process whereby there is the process of conversion of iron ore into steel, and this involves many stages, as I told you. The raw material in the very beginning is put under a blast furnace. You remember I gave you the meaning of all these terms before? So in this blast furnace, this iron ore undergoes smelting under heavy pressure and heavy heat. Then it is refined, and then the output is obtained, such as steel. And this steel is used in other industries as raw material. So this is how the iron industry works and how steel is produced. Now, what about steel? So what is steel? Steel is nothing but it is a tough and an easily shapeable metal. So there are many alloys which can be mixed with steel, and it can give us some other things. For example, some special alloys like aluminum can be made out of it, isn't it? So alloy means metal made by combining two or more metallic elements, especially to give it greater strength or resistance to coercion. So steel and iron industry, as I told you already, it is called as the backbone of modern industry, and almost everything that we use in our day-to-day life, starting from a small safety pin to the big car, everywhere we need iron and steel. So iron and steel industries are located in India and also in the world. So in India, we find iron and steel industry mostly somewhere in Jamshedpur, and in the world, we find it in the USA in Pittsburgh. So this is all about our last class. So today, students, we will be continuing with the iron and steel industries, and today mainly we will be talking about India and Pittsburgh, Jamshedpur and Pittsburgh separately. So let us begin. First of all, let me share with you all the learning outcome for today. So today, after the class is over, you all will be in a position to explain the locational advantages of TISCO at Jamshedpur and the steel plants at Pittsburgh, USA. So let's begin with the Tata Iron and Steel Company in Jamshedpur. So before 1947, that means before India got independence, there was only one iron and steel plant in the country. And that was set up by the Tata Company, which was known as TISCO. The full form of TISCO is Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited. So TISCO was privately owned by the Tata Group. But after independence, that means after 1947, the government took up special initiatives. It took up several steps in order to ensure that there is more industries of iron and steel set up. So TISCO was set up or started much before 1947, that is in 1907. And it was started at Sakchi. Sakchi is a place. It is a place near the meeting point or the confluence of the rivers Subarnarekha, Kharkai in Jharkhand. So geographically, if you want to see the location whereby iron and steel industry can be most appropriately set up is actually Jamshedpur. So geographically, Jamshedpur is the most suitable site for iron and steel plants in the country. So let us move on to this plant now. So this is the location of the iron and steel industry in Jamshedpur. So here you can see Sachi, the place called Sachi, which is near which the Tata Steel work has been set up. And you can also see how along this blue line you can also see the three rivers that come together and ultimately form the place called Sachi. And just in Sachi, this Tata Steel Works is set up. So, why was Sachi chosen? Sachi was chosen to set up the steel plant for many reasons. First of all, this place was only 32 kilometers away from Kalimati station. So, where is Kalimati station? It is on the Bengal Nagpur railway line. And since it was since it was nearer to the railway line, that is why it was very close to the iron ore, coal, and manganese deposits, as well as to Kolkata, which provided a large market. So, because it was nearer to the railway line, and since things can be brought in and out in the markets of India, especially in Kolkata, therefore it was said to be a very suitable place to set up the steel plant there. TISCO, that means Tata Iron Steel Corporation, they get the coal from Jharia coal fields and iron ore, limestone, dolomite and manganese from Orissa and Chhattisgarh. The Kharkai and Subarnarekha rivers ensured sufficient water supply. Government initiatives provided adequate capital for its later development. So if you read the points of this slide very well, you will understand that it covers, or Sachi fulfills all the factors that are necessary in order to set up an industry. It has got everything. First of all, it is nearer to a railway station. Secondly, it is nearer to a very well established market in Kolkata. Then it gets coal easily from Jharia coalfield. It gets other things, other minerals from places like Odisha and Chhattisgarh, which is not very far. Then there is water supply from the neighboring rivers, and also lots of government initiatives are provided so that there is development in this sector. So if you read this slide, you will be able to understand that how well Sachi actually fulfills all the things that are required for setting up an industry. Okay, let's move on. So in Jamshedpur, there were other industrial plants as well, which were set up after TISCO, of course. And they produce chemicals, locomotive parts, agricultural equipments, machinery, tin plate, cable, and wire. The development of the iron and steel industry opened the doors to rapid industrial development in India. And all the sectors of the Indian industry, it depends heavily on iron and steel for their basic infrastructure. Because I already told you that iron and steel, they are feeder industries. They feed the other industries as raw materials. Right. So this is all about Tata Iron and Steel Company. Now let's move on to USA. But before USA, you need to go through this important slide as well. The Indian iron and steel industry consists of large integrated steel plants as well as mini steel plants. It also includes secondary producers, rolling mills, and ancillary industries. So these are all parts of the iron and steel industries, or you can say these industries, as written here about the mills and the various steel plants, they are all dependent on the Indian iron and steel industry for their raw materials. All right, so finally, let's move on to Pittsburgh, that is USA. So the steel industry in Pittsburgh is an important steel city of the United States of America. The steel industry at Pittsburgh enjoys locational advantage. Just like Sachi enjoys locational advantage, in the similar manner in USA, Pittsburgh enjoys locational advantages, because of which a steel plant is set up there. Some of the raw materials like coal is available locally in Pittsburgh itself, and some other ores like iron ore, etc. comes from the iron mines at Minnesota, which is about 1500 kilometers from Pittsburgh. So between the mines at Minnesota and between Pittsburgh is one of the world's best routes for shipping ore cheaply. And that is known as the famous Great Lakes Waterway. So it is through the Great Lake Waterways whereby the various iron ores and various other minerals are being purchased and taken to Pittsburgh for manufacturing iron out of it. Trains carry the ore from the Great Lakes to the Pittsburgh area. The Ohio, the Monongahela, and Allegheny rivers provide adequate water supply. So students, if you observe this slide well, then you will realize that even Pittsburgh, it fulfills all the criteria, all the factors that are necessary for setting up any industry. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so let us see what is the present situation at Pittsburgh. So today at present, very few of the large steel mills are in Pittsburgh itself. They are located in the valleys of Monongahela and Allegheny rivers above Pittsburgh and along the Ohio River below it. Finished steel is transported to the market by both land and water routes. The Pittsburgh area has many factories other than steel mills. These use stills as their raw material to make many different products such as railroad equipments, heavy machinery, and rails. So this brings us to the end of today's discussion, and I would like to end today's discussion by sharing with you all the keywords which we all were concentrating on today. So we came to know about TISCO, then you heard about the word confluence, which means meeting, then coal fields, mini steel mills, rolling mills, ancillary industries, etc. So students, I want you all to write down these words in your copies and also find out their meaning from the dictionary. All right, and write it down and show me when your school reopens. So that's all, dear students. Thank you so much for joining. We have a live class now in the next period. So during that period, we are going to do something very interesting. What we are going to do is, we are going to have a quiz round during our live class so that we can recall the chapters that are coming for tomorrow. That is for your PT2 examination, which is tomorrow. So students, I would like to thank you all once again, and I would like to say that join the live class. It will be a very short one and we will have fun in the class. We will have great introduction in the class, and then of course I'll end it soon so that you can go back to your studies and revise your social science. Thank you. Have a very good day.